I guess you were right, Linus. I shouldn't have picked this little tree. Everything I do turns into a disaster.
Released in 1965, A Charlie Brown Christmas tells the story of Charlie Brown, the perpetually unlucky boy who feels lonely amid the colourful and commercialised holiday season. He embarks on a journey to discover the true meaning of Christmas, joining Linus, Lucy, Snoopy and the Peanuts gang in small but heartwarming activities, decorating the Christmas tree, preparing for festivities, and finding joy in the simple moments. But behind this seemingly simple exterior lies a treasure trove of little-known stories from the child actors struggling to voice complicated lines for the first time to Charles Schulz, the creator of Peanuts, standing up in the middle of a meeting to oppose the idea of adding a laugh track. Even Linus's iconic true meaning of Christmas speech was nearly cut because producers feared it would upset advertisers. Which small details helped make this one of the most beloved Christmas specials in American television history? Discover the answers in the video.
Snoopy, you'll have to be all the animals in our play. Can you be a sheep? How about a cow? How about a penguin?
30. CBS hated this show so much it nearly never aired. Although A Charlie Brown Christmas is now a holiday classic, its first airing in 1965 faced strong opposition from CBS executives. After completing the film, Lee Mendelsohn and Bill Melendez held a test screening for CBS executives just 3 weeks before the broadcast. The reaction was extremely negative. Executives felt the program was too slow, lacked energy, and was not suitable for the festive mood they wanted for a Christmas special. One executive even claimed this would be the first and last Charlie Brown special. Additionally, an error in the opening credits worsened the situation. Charles Schulz's name was misspelled, adding an extra T to his surname. This increased his disappointment with the program. Despite strong opposition, the special aired on December 9, 1965. It attracted over 15 million viewers, nearly half of all TVs in use at the time, and became an essential part of many families' Christmas traditions. Do you watch this program every Christmas? Share your thoughts in the comments below. 29. It became an annual Christmas tradition. After its broadcast, A Charlie Brown Christmas became an indispensable part of the annual Christmas season in the United States. The program was aired continuously on the same channel from 1966 to 2000, with impressive viewership and prestigious awards such as the Emmy and Peabody. The show cemented its status in the hearts of audiences. In 2001, the broadcasting rights were transferred to ABC, where the program continued to air annually until 2019. In 2001, ABC aired a special documentary titled The Making of a Charlie Brown Christmas, hosted by Whoopi Goldberg. The documentary provided an in-depth look at the production process, including interviews with the voice actors and producers. 28. The budget was only $76,000. When Coca-Cola executives saw a documentary about Charles Schulz and noticed Charlie Brown on the cover of Time magazine in April 1965, they came up with the idea to sponsor a 1-hour animated special for Christmas. However, Bill Melendez, the director, felt that 6 months of preparation was too short for a large-scale project. He proposed a half-hour program instead, but wasn't sure how to estimate the budget, seeking advice. Melendez called his colleague Bill Hanna, founder of the famous Hanna-Barbera animation studio, but Hanna refused to share production secrets. In the end, Melendez received a modest budget of $76,000 from CBS and Coca-Cola to complete the program. With this limited budget, the production team had to work tirelessly. They created about 13,000 drawings with 12 frames per second and used traditional animation techniques such as pencil sketches, inking painting on transparent cells, and layering them over pre-drawn backgrounds. Despite financial and time constraints, the special became a classic beloved across generations. By 2000, A Charlie Brown Christmas had earned Charles Schulz, Lee Mendelsohn, and Bill Melendez approximately $5 million from broadcasts and related merchandise. Do you find this fact interesting, that with such a small budget, they earned millions? Share your thoughts in the comments below. 27. No adults appear in the show. Interestingly, the film features no adult characters. This aligns with the Peanuts comic strip style, where adults rarely appear, and when they do, their voices are rendered as the distinctive wah-wah sound, creating a unique child-centered perspective. However, in later specials, Charlie Brown's teacher was introduced. Although her voice was never clearly heard, her presence was acknowledged, especially in specials like A Boy Named Charlie Brown. 26. Linus's true meaning of Christmas speech was nearly cut. Charles Schulz was a devout man, and according to biographies, the life of Jesus Christ was a recurring theme that obsessed him. From the start, he emphasized that the script should contain religious undertones, particularly an excerpt from the Gospel of Luke about the birth of Jesus, to remind viewers of the true meaning of a holiday often forgotten in the era's commercialism. Producers initially agreed to include a scene related to the Christ child to reflect Sparky's heartfelt intentions. However, when the script was completed, Mendelsohn realized he had included a full 1-minute speech directly from the New Testament. This led to heated debate between Schulz and the producers, as Mendelsohn worried that a religious speech might make advertisers uneasy and narrow the audience. Fortunately, the iconic speech was ultimately retained, becoming one of the most memorable moments of a Charlie Brown Christmas, and has continued to be broadcast annually since. 25. Most voice actors were neighborhood children. Instead of using adult actors to voice children, as was common in animation producer Lee Mendelsohn, and director Bill Melendez decided to cast real children. Professional child actors were chosen for Charlie Brown, Linus, and Lucy because they had to memorize most of their lines. The rest came from children living in director Bill Melendez's neighborhood in Southern California, most of whom had no prior acting or voice experience. This decision added authenticity to the performances, but also created challenges during recording, as many children struggled to read lines fluently. Peter Robbins, who voiced Charlie Brown, shared that when he first received guidance from Melendez, he mimicked Melendez's Mexican accent, making the recording sessions lively and humorous. Robbins began voicing Charlie Brown at age 9 and continued until he was 13. Throughout recording, the children often struggled with complex words like Eastern Syndicate, making sessions chaotic but full of laughter. After the program aired, the child actors became famous at their schools, with many classmates asking them to repeat famous lines from the show. 24. Viewers mailed candy to the production office. Audiences truly felt Charlie Brown's sadness, he mutters. I got 5 pieces of candy. I got a chocolate bar. I got a quarter. I got a rock. And in 1966, many viewers found it harsh. Yet that emotion brought the show to life after airing families mailed actual candy to the production office, trying to make up for the beloved animated character. The image of Charlie Brown holding the small rock touched children's sensitivities, reminding them that the world can sometimes be unfair. How do you feel about this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. 23. Snoopy's house was originally blue. In the 1965, a Charlie Brown Christmas special, Snoopy's house was designed in blue instead of the now iconic red. This may surprise many viewers as they remember Snoopy's house as always being red. However, in the original version, the blue colour matched the animation style and design of that period. This colour change became an interesting highlight in Peanuts history. While Snoopy's house appeared blue in A Charlie Brown Christmas, in later specials, it consistently appeared red, becoming an easily recognisable symbol of the character. What do you think about this colour change? Share your thoughts. 22. official rights to the story were only recently cleared. Before 2013, staging A Charlie Brown Christmas at schools or local theatres often lacked official licensing, making producers potential copyright violators. Official rights were only granted recently. Today, performance rights are licensed through Tams Witmark, a subsidiary of Concord Theatricals. With official licensing, producers can legally perform A Charlie Brown Christmas. However, some restrictions remain, such as prohibiting the use of Snoopy costumes. Original songs from the special are also allowed in these performances. 21. Charles Schulz created most of the ideas. Charles M. Schulz, creator of the Peanuts comic strip, played a key role in shaping A Charlie Brown Christmas. Although produced in collaboration with director Bill Melendez and producer Lee Mendelsohn, Schulz wrote the script himself. He proposed using Charlie Brown's small, modest tree as a symbol of his sincerity and simplicity during the holidays. 20. Peanuts animation adaptation wasn't initially embraced. Schulz was initially reluctant to adapt Peanuts into animation. Since the comic's debut in 1955, he and the distributor United Press Syndicate continually received proposals to turn the characters into TV or film adaptations. Many young readers even wrote letters asking when they could see Snoopy on screen. Schulz often humorously replied, "There are more wonderful things in life than TV cartoons." However, he did not completely reject commercial projects. Schulz collaborated with Ford Motors, his lifelong loyalty, to allow Charlie Brown to appear in a series of Ford Falcon commercials in the early 1960s. These ads were illustrated by Bill Melendez, who earned Schulz's trust by keeping a simple, subtle style, different from the exaggerated motion style Melendez had used for Disney films like Bambi or Dumbo. 19. Only once did Lucy call Charlie by just his first name. Lucy Van Pelt usually calls Charlie Brown by his full name, reflecting her seriousness and critical attitude toward him. However, there is one special case in this program when Lucy simply calls Charlie Brown Charlie. This is the only time in the Peanuts special series that Lucy uses this nickname, which surprised and amused many viewers. 18. Snoopy's voice is just gibberish. Charles Schulz decided that Snoopy should not have dialogue in the film because he is a dog and dogs cannot speak. Therefore, director Bill Melendez found a creative solution. He personally created sounds resembling barking and panting, then sped up the recording to give the impression that Snoopy was talking. 17. The show had no laugh track. In the 1960s, using artificial laughter in half-hour animated shows was standard practice, guiding viewers when to laugh. Even popular shows like The Flintstones used this technique with a preset studio audience to enhance comedic effect. However, when producer Lee Mendelsohn suggested a laugh track for A Charlie Brown, Christmas Charles Schulz reacted strongly. According to Mendelsohn, when he mentioned adding a laugh track, Schulz stood up, left the room for a few minutes, then returned to continue the meeting as if nothing had happened. Mendelsohn realized that Schulz had outright rejected the idea. Schulz felt the story in this special needed to be conveyed authentically and emotionally without artificial laughter. He believed that the audience could naturally feel and laugh on their own without needing guidance from added sound effects. What do you think about this? Share your opinion in the comments below. 16. Animating. Charlie Brown's head became a major challenge. Because Charles Schulz designed Charlie Brown with a distinct round head, turning the character's head in animation was difficult. Furthermore, Charlie's short arms could not reach his head to perform gestures like scratching, adding complexity to animating his actions. In contrast, Snoopy with a flexible head shape and no round skull became the easiest character to animate. This allowed filmmakers freedom to depict Snoopy's actions and expressions without design limitations like Charlie Brown. To maintain consistency with Schulz's original design, Melendez had to find ways to overcome these animation challenges. 15. The original version was longer than 26 minutes. The original 1965 version of A Charlie Brown Christmas was over 26 minutes long and aired on CBS with Coca-Cola sponsorship. In the opening scene, Linus is thrown by Snoopy into a Coca-Cola sign reading, "Brought to you by the people in your town who bottle Coca-Cola." The program concluded with the song "Hark the Herald Angels Sing" and the words "Merry Christmas" from the people who bottle Coca-Cola on screen. However, after the initial broadcast, producers realized that TV commercial time had increased, making the program no longer fit a 30-minute slot. They made edits to shorten it, including removing Coca-Cola-related scenes. These changes became the official version, aired in subsequent years, and released on home media. 14. They completed the special just before airing. CBS Melendez and Mendelsohn believed they could complete the special in time for the Christmas broadcast, and they did. However, it was finished under extreme time pressure. A Charlie Brown Christmas was completed just 10 days before airing. 13. Mendelsohn wrote lyrics in 15 minutes, but Schulz hated it. Music played a vital role in setting the festive tone. Most of the soundtrack was composed by jazz musician Vince Guaraldi from San Francisco. One standout piece was "Christmas Time Is Here," used to open the special. Initially, it was an instrumental, but producer Lee Mendelsohn decided to add lyrics. Unable to find a lyricist in time, Mendelsohn wrote the lyrics himself in about 15 minutes on an envelope. However, Charles Schulz, creator of Peanuts, did not fully approve. He allowed Mendelsohn to handle the music, but later expressed dissatisfaction. In an interview after the broadcast, Schulz admitted he did not like jazz and thought it was terrible. Nevertheless, Guaraldi's music became an essential part of subsequent Peanuts programs and remains widely loved. 12. They had to create personalities for the characters. The production team had to create distinctive voices for the Peanuts characters, something not present in the comic strip. Director Bill Melendez and producer Lee Mendelsohn decided that Charlie Brown would have a bland voice to reflect his quiet personality, while Lucy would have a bold voice to show confidence and occasional bossiness. Notably, Snoopy was not given spoken lines, expressing emotions only through actions and non-verbal sounds, creating a charming and recognizable image. 11. The film paved the way for many more specials. Following the tremendous success of A Charlie Brown Christmas, the Peanuts specials quickly expanded, marking the start of a long-running animation machine. Director Bill Melendez and producer Lee Mendelsohn developed over 50 specials, most airing on television, turning Charles Schulz's characters into cultural icons beloved across generations. Notable specials include It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown 1966, about Linus awaiting the Great Pumpkin on Halloween, A Charlie Brown, Thanksgiving 1973 with its unique Thanksgiving feast, and You're in Love, Charlie Brown 1967, exploring Charlie Brown's first love. Beyond TV specials, Peanuts was adapted into films including A Boy Named Charlie Brown 1969 and Snoopy Come Home 1972. These specials not only left a commercial mark, but also became an essential part of Christmas culture. Have you watched all these specials? Share your thoughts in the comments below. 10. This wasn't Charlie Brown's first appearance. Charlie Brown first appeared on May 30th, 1948 in the single-panel comic series Lil Folks created by Charles Schulz. This was Schulz's first regular comic strip published weekly in the St. Paul Pioneer Press from 1947 to 1950. In Lil Folks, Charlie Brown was not a fixed character, but was used as a name for various boys in humorous situations. However, on May 30th, 1948, Schulz used the name Charlie Brown in a specific scenario, marking the first time this name appeared in his work. Although Lil Folks did not have recurring characters, many elements from this series were carried into Peanuts, including the name Charlie Brown, the image of a dog resembling Snoopy, and a passion for Beethoven's music. 9. Willie Mays played an important role in creating the film. Willie Mays played an important role in the creation of A Charlie Brown Christmas, the first Peanuts special. In 1963, producer Lee Mendelsohn made the documentary A Man Named Mays about baseball legend Willie Mays. This film greatly impressed Charles Schulz, the creator of Peanuts, who enjoyed it immensely. When Mendelsohn proposed making a similar documentary about Schulz and his comic strip, Schulz agreed on the condition that Mendelsohn invite Bill Melendez to join the project. Melendez had collaborated with Schulz on Ford commercials, and Schulz trusted his abilities. 8. The special was nearly cancelled. In fact, there was a time when the program was nearly cancelled due to opposition from the sponsor Coca-Cola. According to producer Lee Mendelsohn, an executive from the advertising agency McCann Erickson representing Coca-Cola visited the production team during filming. Before seeing the completed animation or hearing the background music, the executive judged the program a disaster and warned that if he shared his opinion with Coca-Cola, they might withdraw from the project. Nevertheless, Mendelsohn stood firm in defending his idea, emphasizing that the appeal of Charles Schulz's characters would be clearly expressed, allowing the program to eventually air. 7. Half the country watched A Charlie Brown Christmas. Audiences deeply resonated with Charlie Brown's holiday melancholy, contrary to some critics' and sponsors' doubts. When the episode aired at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, A Charlie Brown Christmas achieved a 50% share, meaning half of the households with televisions were watching about 15 million people, second only to Bonanza in popularity. Ultimately, CBS had to admit it was a tremendous success, although one executive still criticized Mendelsohn, saying, "Your aunt in New Jersey doesn't like the program." 6. Sally's voice sounded like a loose tooth. When voicing Sally the 6-year-old with a wobbly front tooth, the production team had to rush her into the recording booth and capture her lines quickly before her voice changed. Listening closely, you can almost feel the tooth clinging, giving her voice a sweet, innocent, and imperfect charm. Not professional polish, but the voice of a real child. Each line and pause in her dialogue felt like snapshots, messy, humorous, and authentic, evoking simple, yet emotional Christmas moments. 5. A Charlie Brown Christmas hurt aluminum tree sales. At the time of release, aluminum Christmas trees were a popular trend in the US, known for their shiny, easy-to-assemble designs. However, the debut of A Charlie Brown Christmas in 1965 strongly influenced public preference. In the special, Charlie Brown refuses to buy an artificial aluminum tree, choosing a small, real tree instead, emphasizing the value of sincerity and simplicity during the holidays. This image criticized the commercialization of Christmas, causing many families to feel ashamed of owning aluminum trees. As a result, sales of aluminum trees plummeted, and by 1970, the aluminum specialty company ceased production. Most aluminum trees produced were discarded or sold off cheaply. 4. Charles Schulz was embarrassed by a scene. Charles Schulz always emphasized consistency in character and background design. However, a continuity error in a scene made him feel embarrassed. Specifically, in scenes where Charlie Brown stands near his Christmas tree, the branches seem to grow inconsistently, creating visual oddities. Schulz criticised the two animators responsible for the scene, claiming they did not communicate and were unaware of each other's work, leading to this mistake. 3. Children received free VHS tapes in 1993. In 1993, Knott's Berry Farm gave away free VHS copies of A Charlie Brown Christmas to children during a special holiday event. Interestingly, these VHS tapes were completely intact, without previews, ads, studio logos, or FBI warnings. It was simply the full, unedited special offering the same experience as the original broadcast. 2. Won the 1966 Emmy. The film won the Primetime Emmy for Outstanding Children's Program in 1966 at the 18th Emmy Awards held in Hollywood on May 22nd. This award was official recognition of the show's influence and exceptional quality, especially given the tight production schedule and limited budget. Winning the Emmy also affirmed the artistic value of the Peanuts specials, showing that simple yet authentic stories about Charlie Brown, Linus, Snoopy, and friends could resonate with both children and adults. 1. Completed in 6 months. The production team had only about 6 months to complete the half-hour special, most of whom had never worked in this field. Charles Schulz wrote the script, Bill Melendez directed the animation, and producer Lee Mendelsohn struggled to assemble the project pieces while everyone collectively figured out what to do for Christmas. A limited budget, minimal experience, and a completely new field, yet they created one of the most enduring and beloved specials ever. The 30 interesting facts about A Charlie Brown Christmas show that it is not just a cartoon, but also a testament to creativity, perseverance, and timeless emotional moments. From small details like Snoopy's house colour and natural child voice acting to Vince Guaraldi's jazz music, and the profound message about the true meaning of Christmas, everything contributes to making a special cherished by generations. What about you? Do you enjoy A Charlie Brown Christmas? Would you like to watch it again this holiday season? Share your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for more interesting insights into classic films and behind-the-scenes stories. Thank you for joining us.